Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Beyond the Frame Live. My name is Dottie San Martin, and we are here this afternoon to share some industry best practices and ideas. Today, our special guest is Elizabeth Rizzuto from Xtreme Action Park in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Hi, Elizabeth. Welcome.
Hi.
We're so happy to have you here today. Well, this week we have been looking at focusing on how we get back in the swing of things and how we drive business to our centers and what opportunities are available, who we're seeing coming in and who is a little bit more hesitant to come in. So you guys have so many attractions at your facility. I mean, absolutely. It's just, I think there's like 12 different attractions within your facility, which is just phenomenal.
Yes.
But I'm curious, you guys opened up back in June, early June, correct?
We did. We opened June 3rd, to be exact. Yes.
Okay. Okay. And um, when you opened, did you have basically the same customers coming back in as you did before you closed down? Is it the same demographic coming in?
No, actually, it's very different. And we kind of expected that too,
Mhm.
but we definitely have a lot more locals coming into our park. And we noticed that a lot of the older demographic, the 40 and above, I would say, are no longer coming out. It was definitely more your teenagers, your college age, probably up to under 30. That was the peak, whereas before we kind of varied more throughout, between 20 and 50, the younger were coming in, and families of small children. We saw a lot of young kids coming out.
Yes,
So,
mom was
yeah.
going stir crazy, or dad was going stir crazy. Let's
Yeah.
get fun going. Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, it's interesting. We have been talking with centers, and it seems like the families are the ones that are a little bit harder to get back in the center. And I wanted to visit with you a little bit about the concept that you guys came up with. I the extreme day camps that you have that you're going to be offering. And I know school has just started, so I don't anticipate that this has really taken off yet. But can you share with me a little bit about this concept and how it came to be? And
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So we had, during June, we had started our Extreme Summer Camp, and we ran it for a few weeks. We had just a few kids come in, but it was well worth it to have them have the experience of the park.
Mm-hmm.
And while we were monitoring what was going on in our area with the online learning, the distance learning, our team got together, primarily Greg, our sales director, and we started brainstorming on how we could implement some type of program to help parents in our
Mm-hmm.
community. We even went so far as to connect with other attractions like ours. There's a museum that we partner with that helps us with our STEM curriculum. And we were looking at a age group that would fit our attractions, which, like our camp, is 8 years old and above.
Mm-hmm.
That's the age that most kids can enjoy the facility. And thinking, how can we do this? We're not teachers, right? What do we do? So we found that most of the Broward County school system, which is the county we're in, we even reached out to them and they immediately included us. They offer the online program for the students. So basically, all the tools are there for the parents to conduct the school at home with the kids. Now, parents have to work, right? So, how do we help them? Well, we provide a safe, clean environment for those students to come with their laptops and log into their curriculum, but at our facility, supervised by our team. So now we can make sure that that child is logged in at 8 a.m. for their first session, and then they get a break, and that break is now playing in the arcade, or then they log in for their next session, or they have a little study time. The best part is they can even have a recess where they can play physical games in the park, which is so important for these young kids.
Well, and it's turning that otherwise not very attractive virtual learning experience into one that they can actually look forward to and enjoy.
Right.
Obviously, which would make them, get a lot more out of that time, as well as being a huge help for the parent.
Yes.
And I've heard this topic brought up. Some people refer to them as learning pods and pandemic pods, and a number of different references. But one of the things that as we were talking prior to going live here, I had asked you about the liability, and you were telling me about the waivers that you guys require. So that's definitely something I would assume that you recommend to people that are considering this option.
Yes, absolutely. We have, all of our activities are action oriented. So we do require a waiver system for all of our guests, but also for private events, for events like this, and for our camp. So we do have a waiver, and it's worth investing in the right people to prepare that waiver for you and make sure it covers all of your available activities. And think of everything and anything you can to include in there. I highly
For sure,
recommend it. Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Right.
It's interesting. The customers that you shared were the ones that you see coming in now. Is that actually your target audience, or has that kind of changed?
Well, it is different than our target. So the park itself originated, and please, if you have a chance to go look at our facility on our website, as Dottie mentioned, there's a
It's
lot happening there. It was designed and originally built as a go-kart track for team building, for corporate team building.
mm-hmm.
And in the last 5 years, we completely renovated and expanded the park, more than doubling its size, making it the largest in the States, possibly the Eastern Seaboard, right? So we've got this wonderful facility, and it's still the primary demographic was corporate events, private events, and families. So we'll gradually to families. Now we are seeing different. We're seeing locals, we're seeing teens, we're seeing younger. So it has changed. But I have, discussed this with many partners in the area, even restaurants in the area, and found that it's everywhere. It's not just us.
You're right.
They're all seeing the same demographic that we are. I think there's just those that are more adventurous to go out and others that are more reserved. And I think that's anywhere you are at this time.
I agree. It was also interesting. We're talking about changes and things that are necessary that we've had to do to get our businesses back reopened. And you shared with me something before we went live here that I thought was very interesting. Can you tell our viewers about how you guys kind of changed your approach to your flow of traffic and how you present your product?
Absolutely. So, like many of you and wherever you are, I'm sure you're going through capacity restrictions and, the sanitizing and the cleaning that we all know we've all been doing, but now are publicly facing, doing, performing. But the capacity restrictions was something we were concerned about because our park is pay to play. So we don't have a gate fee. Guests will come into the park and can kind of go where they want to go. And depending on what we were offering in the park, they would choose their activities and purchase. So now, having to control the capacity, we've had to funnel them through a makeshift entrance. We literally grabbed, the bicycle rack dividers and stanchions and made this sort of funnel where we're not only counting, but we're also ensuring that they're wearing their masks, that they're aware of all of the available cleaning, hand sanitizing stations, and that they knew all of the things that we were enforcing for their safety and for ours. So on top of that, as this flow started to develop, we realized that people were appreciating the conversation. And now we had this opportunity to then say, well, what are you planning on doing at the park today? Maybe we could help you. And next thing you know, we pulled out some packages and could better advise the guest on planning their day at the park. Again, going from come in, take a look around, see what you want, kind of free shopping to, well, wait a minute, let me help you. And now it has translated into a higher spend per guest and 5-star reviews. Everybody loves the recommendations. The feedback has been tremendous. They love learning and hearing about what we're doing to help them, along with helping them decide what to do. So,
Absolutely. Well,
yeah,
I admire you for, you and your team for, um, that definitely just enhances their experience to walk in and get that feeling of, I'm important. They are here to help me have a better experience at their facility. And then to really help them tailor that experience,
yes.
to what they're in, what is of interest to them today.
Mm-hmm.
That same customer may come in tomorrow and they may have a completely different, request of what they want to do. But
Right.
I think that that's very important as centers begin to reopen, to be able to listen to the needs of their customers and act on those needs, to be able to pivot from what you're normally doing, and go in a different direction because that's what the customer needs at the time. And I think with some of the programs, for example, the day camp program that you have, I think that that's brilliant to really be able to listen to what that challenge is for your customer. And I've witnessed it firsthand of my kids trying to juggle working from home and having little ones in the house. So I can only imagine. I know school is just starting, so um, the results right now have really not been tallied. But I definitely am going to follow up with you because I feel like that, a program like that is there as a result of the immediate needs of your customers, is, it sends out a great message. And to be quite honest, obviously we want it to be as successful as possible, but the message, the underlying message that it sends out is that you are in tune to their needs and you're very sympathetic and
Right.
empathetic, with their needs. And so I think that that alone is a great message. So
Well,
kudos
thanks.
to you guys. So
Thank
um,
you. We appreciate that. I can tell you that the one of the partners that we work with, the museum, they are doing the same program and they targeted kindergarten through 5th grade. And they do have quite a few signups that they were able to start the program. However, we all agree that we think it's just a matter of time before parents realize, oh, I need this program. Whereas we couldn't start right away because of attendance, we are keeping the program open and active because we feel that in a couple weeks, parents may realize, oh, this is really a good idea. Let's do this.
yes,
So
yes, and in the first couple of weeks anyway, it's
it's
everything
exciting. It's
new.
new. Right.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm in total agreement with you. I think that you're going to find that once the new wears off of getting back in the swing, it's not as easy as it seems. So I think that the results are going to be really great.
And these teachers are prepared. So I don't know if you are a parent of a small child. Last year, they were not prepared for this immediate release of
Right.
online homes. So they didn't exactly plan major curriculums, but now they've had a whole summer to come at this, to come back with the students with real programming. So now parents need to pay attention
Yeah,
and be involved.
you are
So,
so right. I mean,
right,
last year it was put together at the last minute out of
right,
necessity,
right,
and to be quite honest, I think there were some kids that kind of looked at it like it was almost a extended
right,
vacation for them.
right.
And yes, I have a
It's
sister.
like a movie when the substitute comes in, right? It's a
Yeah,
substitute day. There's a movie. So now they said, we're going to make sure this is done right. Good.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So a lot of your business in the past has been corporate events and such, which you were sharing with me that you have changed the direction of those a little bit, which I think is a great way to go. You want to share a little bit about what you're doing for corporate right now?
So yes, and it's not just corporate, it's even for our parties and events. So we were talking about being adaptable, right? And agile and to not be afraid to try something new. And I think we were going on the lines of our hours. We had learned when we first opened, we were only open 5 of the 7 days a week. You know, we had closed on Monday, Tuesday, which historically have been slower days. And we only opened for one small shift for our team to work. We started with a very limited team. Mm-hmm. And then we were able to earn enough to hire more so that we could open more hours. So now we're open 7 days. And that was 12 to 8 during the week and 2 to 10 on Friday and Saturday. Again, it was the middle of summer. So we thought, okay, families will be coming out earlier in the day. And then we realized that actually, no, they were coming out still later. And in the evening time at 8, when we're closing, it almost felt like the momentum was just picking up. So then we adapted and we decided, okay, now we're 2 to 10 every day, which actually helped us build that day camp option because we could offer that 8 to 2, which would be a normal school day. So again, coming full circle, we also thought of, well, if we're not open till 2 on a Saturday, how do we do a private event? Perhaps we could look at a VIP experience or a private experience where, let's say you are still concerned about going out, still being, cautious about traveling to public spaces, but now the park is closed until 2. So, our cleaning happens every night, every morning. So we could bring in a small private group of 10 or less, still following all of the guidelines, but now you're not worried about the park full of people. And we could, 200,000 square feet, we figured out these 3 little packages where one's bowling, one's skating, which is on the other side of the park, and then one karting, which is, our most popular attraction. They could all exist at the same time and never see each other. So we thought this is a great opportunity for those corporate outings, appreciation for those teams that have been working so hard, for first responders that need a break, for parents who are just a little worried about, still gathering. And it could all occur before we open to the public, thus giving this VIP private experience.
And to be able to have, something that's a VIP experience and, that exclusivity is just, that's what people are looking for.
Yes.
They're wanting something that's very tailored to what they're, wanting to accomplish. And I think that it's a great, has the success been what you were hoping for?
Yeah, we've actually, we put the message out there, and Greg, our sales director, he's been booking them on the weekends, which has been wonderful. And then during the week, hopefully we're going to be picking up some more, not so much a lot of corporate just yet, but coming into season, October, November, December, we expect this to be definitely a top seller. It should grow.
Absolutely. Now, are you still offering traditional birthday parties, or is this okay?
We are. So one more thing that I didn't get a chance to mention to you before that I was thinking just now is even not just us, we're connected with all the industry in our area. We're part of even the statewide attractions association, and we do updates. And we've noticed that people are not planning in advance so much, especially their day trips. Even zoos in our area are not seeing guests pre-book their experience. There's lines that day or that night before they're planning. So we found kind of that similar mindset with parties. We are booking some parties in advance, but there's a lot of last minute, hey, I'm coming today and I want to bring a cake. So we've developed a party area specific for this, where it's a walk-in party. Greg calls it the party arena. He's our sales director. And it's a walk-in party center where the tables are spaced apart, separated from our food court, so we're not infringing on any of our F&B business. It's completely isolated, and we can accommodate 1 or 2 small walk-in parties in that area where they can cut a cake, they can order pizza, and they could have, access to the activities as well. So we found those have been actually quite successful on the weekends because it is a last minute thought. And I think that's kind of what's happening too. They're not sure what's happening in the next couple of weeks, but hey, we're all together now. Let's do it. So
That's right. And things are changing so quickly that it really is difficult to make plans. So again, that goes back to listening to the needs of the customer and what things are important to them, and pivoting and creating an option that's going to help them with the challenges that they're currently facing. So
yep.
I think I think that those are going to just continue to grow, because I think that's going to be the way people do things probably for quite some time now.
And don't be afraid. Again, we were discussing, for those other attractions and venues and smaller, don't be afraid to think outside the box. To be honest, if you ever wanted to try something, now's the time. I mean,
Right.
you can say, hey, we're experimenting. We're doing the best we can. We want to offer the best experience. And if that means changing from the norm so that we can exist in our new rules and our new normal, then let's try it. And please be understanding. Guests, I think, are much more understanding because of all the new rules that they have to follow.
That's exactly right. And it's not just in the entertainment industry. It's, you expect
going to the bank.
You're right. Restaurants, eating out, or picking up orders at Best Buy curbside only. People are, as you said, they expect that there's going to be changes, and they're more agreeable to these types of changes. So
even our phone calls. Hey, so we want to come to the park, but what are the rules? What do we have to do? So we tell them and they say, okay, I can do that. Okay, see you soon. So don't be afraid, to try something new. I think is something, I know, Dottie, you were talking about trying to get that message out, and I would have to agree wholeheartedly. This is the time to be adaptable, to be agile, to
spread your wings.
Try it.
Absolutely. Don't be afraid. And you're right. That's one thing that I hope people get comfortable, and our viewers that are watching this understand it is scary to go out on a new venture and do things differently than what you've done in the past. But sometimes the decisions you make to go out in a different direction result in phenomenal results, and then you'll regret that you didn't do it sooner. So, but you're so right. This is the time. People are expecting changes, and to be quite honest, when they don't see that things have changed somewhat, it kind of tends to raise an eyebrow, like, I thought that things would be a little bit different. So yes, embrace the change. So yeah.
Good message.
Well, Elizabeth, I have thoroughly enjoyed our time together today, and I hope our viewers have too. I just am really excited. As I said, the next time I'm in Fort Lauderdale, I'm definitely going to pay you guys a visit. I've been to your website, and it just looks like tons of fun. So I can't wait to include it on my next trip. But if we have still a lot of venues that are preparing to open, and maybe some that have just opened. What advice do you have for marketers that are having trouble getting people back into their facilities? What advice do you have for them?
Well, quite honestly, I would say what's so important is transparency. I think being open and honest with your guests and showing them what you're doing and showing them how you're trying and what you're doing to keep them safe, to keep your team safe, and just being open and honest. Even video clips that we've put up where we're showing how we're preparing, or constantly making, new clips of how we're cleaning or new ideas to clean, posting our reviews to help, instill confidence in others that, look, someone else came. We're not saying it. They're saying it. Someone else came to the park and said, wow, this place is so clean after COVID, or during COVID, that they are, all of that, use all of that to your advantage, show what you're doing, be honest with the guests, say, if you have to, we don't want to say no, but I'm sorry, we can't at this time because of this, but please understand it's your safety that's our priority. Our ropes course is still not open. We haven't been able to open it yet. And that's because there's a lot of touch points. And
Sure.
quite honestly, having someone, walking above you while you're playing in the arcade is maybe not the smartest, activity right now. So we've
That's right.
we've held back on it, and sure, guests ask, they want to go into the ropes course, but they understand. So I think being transparent and being honest and showing them all the good things that you're doing, and show them your team and how hard they're working, it will have a positive messaging that will help you.
Well, that is a great message. Plus, it makes the experience more personal to them as well, knowing exactly, they can see. So I think that's just a great message. So
Yeah.
again, I can't thank you enough for being our guest today. It's
Oh,
truly,
thanks for having me.
I'm
Yes.
sure that our viewers are going to they've picked up several things that they're going to be able to use in their facility. So, our viewers, I'd like to let you know that next week we're going to take a little bit different direction. We're going to talk about growing competitive bowlers and how you can keep competitive bowlers coming back to your center and keep growing those from social bowlers and growing them into competitive bowlers. And we are going to have the opportunity to speak with Sun Valley Lane's owner John Rizzuto, who's always a pleasure to have on our show. So make plans to join us next Tuesday here on Beyond the Frame Live. And Elizabeth, I look very forward to following up with you guys and visiting your center soon. And I wish you the very best of luck. Y'all are doing great things there, and I only can imagine that success is just going to continue.
Well, thank you so much, Dottie. I really appreciate the opportunity to share, and I do hope that this helps people get open and have a great experience doing what you love.
Absolutely. And we are all in this together, and
Yes.
it's very nice to see the willingness for everybody to come together and help one another and learn from what's working for other centers. So thank you for your candidness in sharing those best practices with us.
My pleasure.
So until next time, viewers, thanks for joining Beyond the Frame, and we will see you next week. Have a good weekend.
Bye.